I have over the years accumulated a lot of vintage and antique ephemera, and I decided to put together a bundle of a lot of different types of this old ephemera and share it with somebody. These are the books that some of the ephemera came from. So I'll start here, 1942, children's activities. Looks really to me like the precursor to highlights and other children's activity books. Super cute. Love this idea. So there's a page from that book. Here is sheet music book, 1909. So there will be sheet music in this bundle. The literary digest, oh, here on the back of this, shows this person's practice history, lessons, history, and hours of practice, days and days and hours of practice. So it looks like they probably were very good at playing the piano. This literary digest from February 1919, during World War I. So a lot of it does have to do with the military and the war and politics and what was going on at home also. But when you get to the advertisements, they're so interesting. There's pages from Literary Digest in this bundle. This Home Life magazine, March 1911, also just a treasure of old-time advertisements, fashion, articles, recipes. Here's one from 1910. So there's a few pages from these books as well, magazines, news, art, I don't know what they'd be called. They're on newspaper paper, so I don't know if they're magazines. March 1911, another Home Life, and these primarily are awesome for their fashions. This is a Saturday Evening Post, and this one is June 26, 1920. Large format, some color. Just interesting. This one is really big too. There's a lot of pages in it. Automobiles were just coming out, being in fashion for obviously wealthy folks. Tires. Toothpaste advertisement. So farming was a huge industry in the 1900s. Probably still is now. But here are some, this is an accounting book, ledger for keeping track of farming activities. So some pages have writing, some pages are blank, so I included a couple of different types of pages and also a page from the very back, which was meant to help farmers and farmers' wives take care of things at home on their own, as far as tending to the health of their household and their farm animals. So this one is tips and ideas about how to take care of your house. Housekeeper's cooking timetable. So how long to cook things. And I think this is all stuff about various illnesses and what to do about illnesses in people and in animals. I included a page, I think, for people things, people illnesses and treatments. So those are very interesting. This is a French language book, but super cute with all the illustrations and the lovely aged paper. That's a different type of paper in color. So there's pages from that included. I do have some ledgers that I have already started to use pages from, but boy do I love ledgers. And these are blank pages, so I've included some of those from this early 1900s ledger. This one had, I believe, had some writing in it, and so this one is from the late 1800s, and so we can find here 1881 will be the date that this accounting was taken. So I guess the customer's name, Dean, and can't really read what Fiskins. So they're lovely old handwriting. 1884. More note-taking and customer names. Oh. More literature. It says town on there and then folks' names. Maybe there was a vote taking place. But yes, this is 1887, 89, 90, 91, so several years worth of use and daily accounting. Over 100 years ago. This is a very nicely illustrated book, How to Know the Wildflowers, in this 1893. I really like the simple illustrations, and it does have descriptions for wildflowers and grasses, but here's a meadow lily, so some regular flowers as well. So a page from that is included, and I really like the old children's textbooks. This one seems like early 1900s, so here's 1927, and some little kid took their pencil to it on some pages, but otherwise well used. Teaching children how to read, practicing reading. So there's where some of this ephemera is coming from. There's some other resources of this ephemera bundle. I found this leather case of calling cards. So there's various folks' calling cards included in here. Presumably, I don't know how they use these. Do they just give them to each other? Did somebody come by the house, and if they weren't available, they left it with a servant? I don't know. I don't know how wealthy these folks were that carried around calling cards, or how they were used, but super interesting. There was these are calendars. There's one for each month of a year, and it has to do with pregnancy. So here's an obstetrical table, presumably that will estimate time until birth, but has all these recipes for how to use Maltine. Presumably it is some sort of vitamin or supplement for pregnant women, and daily sheets to keep a diary of your pregnancy, and one for each month. So I did include, I think, February in this bundle. This is a phone book, an early, I don't know how early, 1931. But this is back when phone numbers were a few digits. So these are the phone numbers, 427. And there's some ads in here. but I just love old things. Here is the American Yearbook, the American Almanac Yearbook, Cyclopedia, and Atlas for 1904. And lots of details, lots of articles about everything. Specific details about people, the government. This says miscellaneous insurance companies in 1902. And so I included a page from here and included a page from the Atlas part of it because I love maps too. So also, while it's not an old book, this artist is old. And I won't pronounce his name right, but his name is Henri Ridout. So French, but prolific illustrator of flowers and roses. And so I disassembled this modern book, but included a page of illustrations in this bundle. This is notes from Elvina Cornelius. It's fading, but this was from 1912. This was, this lady went on to be a teacher, but I think these are from her education when she was in school. So just pages and pages of handwritten notes on what she was learning. So I've included a page from this book as well. Just love her handwriting. It's really pretty. And I love railroad ephemera as well. And I came across some tablets of railroad ephemera paperwork, and that will be included in the bundle as well. Here's some more music paper, sheet music for, I think probably for children, kids in school to use and learn from. Also a modern printing of this book, but I'll include pages from this very popular resource. So these will be the actual pieces of ephemera that will be included in this bundle. Starting off with this, the Household Magazine from December 1934. We've got some recipes here, an advertisement for Royal Baking Powder, article about children, ad about makeup, and women must avoid harsh laxatives. Ain't that the truth? So this is one of the pages from that children's activity book, a page of fun. I like to carefully take my books apart and, if I can, leave the pages intact together. Maybe not in this large format, but I like to put in pages into my junk journals intact like this so that they're in the right orientation to read them. And it's I find it easier to put them into a book if they have if they're intact still, versus having one side, turning it sideways, and then folding it over to accommodate the size of your book. And so that's why these are still together. It's just a habit of mine and the way I make junk journals. To be honest, this size, I think I've always scanned and then shrunk down and used them in 8.5 by 11 size. And I tend to save the originals of the large size aside and don't use them because they're so big. Anyway, so this is Home Life of Chicago, March 1911. Again, just articles and advertisements, ladies' fashions, and some embroidering patterns, needleworking patterns. This is from Saturday Evening Post, a big story article, and some advertisements. Here is the Literary Digest, 1919. Ooh, Whitman samplers. They've been around a long time. Here's a music sheet. Here are the Farmer's Accounting Book pages. And so these will have, I call it first aid, but I guess they're home remedies and how to take care of illnesses that occur at home. Here's a page from the French children's book. Here are some blank journal pages, different styles. These are all from the early 1900s, as far as I could tell. Different size. So there's a couple of pages from that one. Here's from that looks like 1883. I can't really tell. 1880. It looks like 1883, so really old. I think I was able to keep this one intact, accounting for this business. Here's some of how to identify the wild flowers. Another children's book page. Oops. Edith Holden page. Sheet music page. Railroad ephemera. And this is a very light, like light greenish blue. Very pretty. Here's just some handwriting for my note-taking teacher, Elvina Cornelius. There's this Henri Redoubt. He's French. Illustrations. This is from the Almanac. Atlas page from the Almanac. Some more railroad ephemera. Very thin paper. Aged. I did get a lot of ephemera from another teacher, a gentleman, Arthur C. Taylor, and so I have a lot of teaching related ephemera. This is from 1917, special certificate. And now a bunch of invoices are going to be coming along. This one is from 1916. And then, okay, these are the greeting cards. So here is one from 1931. I did a book on Mr. Weast. And this is one of the cards. So here's a Christmas card. And on the inside, and this is embossed, so it has a texture. But that's kind of neat. Here's this is just a correspondence. I think this is, I don't remember the date. I want to say it's the 40s, so 1944. Just some nice handwriting from a lady who, I don't know their relationship, but she was just appreciative of something and wrote a letter to that effect. So here are some just envelopes and things. This is Borden's Condensed Milk Company. These are some sort of coupon for mortgage. So just including several of these. These are from 1914. Here's a war ration book. These are always cool to look at. This one's got some tickets left. So this would be from the 40s. And I did get a lot of ephemera from a particular gentleman, Herbert Axtell, and he was a prolific record keeper. He kept everything, all his receipts from his business. I don't know if, I think he was maybe a dairy farmer, poultry farmer. I think he must be poultry farmer because he has a lot of receipts from the dairyman. But this is how a lot of the ephemera came, just as he left it back in 1916, where he had gotten the receipts from June and put them together into an envelope, presumably just put it into a box of some sort where to keep where he kept everything. So these will all be from 1916. And here's a bank deposit slip with milk check, Carl check, drawing check, some feed receipts, more feed. There's people feed, peanut butter, berries, bread. Bread was 10 cents. I think that says fruit. I'm not sure. Cookies? Yum. And it has the original pin. He put pins and things to keep them together. And here's another invoice or receipt or order. But I'm just going to keep those together so you can have a grand time discovering all of these things for yourself. Again, won't that be fun? So more railroad ephemera. Here is more bills and receipts from Mr. Axtell. So same thing, only a little bit different from different vendors or stores. Here is, I believe, a birthday card on your birthday, and it's from Mother. So this was 1939. Happy birthday. This one is 1924. It's a postcard. This is from 1915. It is a sealed envelope, and what it has inside is a ticket. There's one ticket in there. I'm trying to hold it up to the light so I can jog my memory, but it has to do with banking. And I like this one because it's blue. It's not from 1914. Here's another book page, an obligatory dictionary page. This one is a Latin to English dictionary. Here's a sheet where you would put, I don't know if you put war bonds, war stamps. So there's some more wartime ephemera. 25-cent stamps by a $25 bond. Here is an invitation. I think it's an invitation. Nope. This is the Christmas card, 1943. But the envelope is sparkly. You probably can't tell. Here is 1921. This is an invitation or a graduation announcement, I guess. So it's got the lovely inside envelope, which is in fantastic condition. And the announcement, the senior class. And so that is 1921. A little tissue in it still. And this is Miss Ruth Huntington Truman. So there's that. Here's Mr. Wiest again, and this is an Easter card. I love the little ones. They're so precious. 1924. Here is a page from the True Story magazine. I really thought it was funny because they're trying to fatten up skinny girls. Like that skinny girl. So that she can get her man, I guess. And some more ads. Here's a page from, it's a Woman's Day magazine. Very colorful. This would be from 1947? Woman's Day. 1947. Some recipes. Cheap meat dishes. So another advertisement. This one's from 1939. This is from Screen and Radio Weekly. And I'm not going to remember what year. Hopefully it says inside. It doesn't, but Myrna Loy, so it must be the 40s. So that's interesting. And a page from my almanac. And I love the illustrations. And the helpful things that to remove sulfur, because I get sulfur on myself all the time. And so here's another postcard, 1906, Dear Papa and Mama, and very standard correspondence as far as I'm concerned at the time. And it's always about when did I get the mail last, and what am I sending in the mail, and when is the next mail coming. So it kind of cracks me up. This is a checkbook for Mr. Axtell, and this will be from 1922, and it's probably complete. So it's got several checks, canceled checks. I don't think they canceled them back then, but looks like at least 15, and all the memoranda, all the records that he kept about where the money was going. So here's a page from the phone book, and here's another ledger sheet from the Masseth, the group of Masseth ephemera that I got, and he's from the late 1800s, so this is 1879, and I think it's record keeping for a mortgage. 1890, Ed Masseth, and this is a receipt or an order. This is just accounting. So the person comes in and picks stuff up whatever day, coffee, no idea. Yeast? I don't know. So here's December. So this is a sheet for December 1889. More invoices, and here's a lovely blank one. This is bank paperwork. And a very long order, 1912. This one is around the same time. Okay, another tiny envelope. And this is George Sidway, and I have a lot of his ephemera as well, and although you can't tell a date very well on this one, I believe that this is in the 1870s, and I'm not sure how it wound up being folded this way the whole time, but the date is on this page. And I want to say it's 72, so 1872. And it's it looks like it's written in purple ink, but it was probably blue at one time, but it's very hard to read the handwriting. Still an interesting piece of old ephemera, and this is embossed, so it's raised a little bit, but there's a stamp from the 1800s and a postmark. Here's 1877, and this is like a legal document. It was for a loan that was from the bank. Here's another, I don't know what this is, a bill from the phone company. Here's 1906 Chow Chow. I wonder what that is. Pickles, tartar, oranges. That's hard to read too. And so the final things that are included are some postcards, some other items. To My Valentine, there's a Tennyson poem, but this postcard is blank. Birthday greetings. This one looks from 1916. It's pretty. Some library card catalog cards. Another birthday postcard, 1917. This one's blank. 1918. This one's kind of shiny. This one is 1909. Here is, I'm not sure what these are so much. They're more like calling cards, and they don't have any writing on the back. So here are these fancy, I guess these are calling cards, and the name shows underneath. And I hate to bend back the front part because it'll put a bend in it. So this one says Gloria Freethy, Josephina Erickson, and this one doesn't come up. This says True Friendship. Here's some crazy looking cats. Here's another blank one. This one says Alex Doherty. Accept my best wishes. Bobby Stinford. Ida Nash. So here's February of that maltine. Oh, it tells you on which day what to eat or what to take. Maltine with peptones. That sounds delicious. Maltine with wine of pepsin. So there's that. Here's some more little calling cards. Lillian Johnson, Ernest Andrew Anderson, and Evelyn Anderson. And I have a couple of photos. Here's a baby. Here's some ladies together in their outfits and hats. And here's one. Oh, I think I'm opening it wrong. It's torn. But this looks like from 1914. So there's a lovely portrait from Newark, New Jersey. And that is what you will get with this pack of vintage, authentic ephemera. Almost more than 90% of it is from that time frame, 100 years ago to 75 years ago, I guess the 40s. It would be about 60 years. But this is what I do with my authentic ephemera. This is a journal I've been working on. Probably should be called an heirloom journal. It is specifically one family, the Farringtons, who the earliest correspondence that I have for them is this card, Farrington, and it is from 1891. And so, as so often is the case, the things that are kept, it's a death notification. Your brother Joseph died. So I included this in this heirloom journal, and included various pieces of correspondence. This is from 1907, and tucked away, you know, photos, and this is probably considered junk mail. But so these are all from the same family. They tell a story. Basically, people were courting. This couple was courting, and I have those correspondence back and forth. This is part of the phone book. But so this is what I do with the ephemera. Something just to inspire you to get started using your new ephemera. There's a ledger sheet, another letter, ledger paper, school records, music paper, And so this is almost done. I have to finish the back page, but eventually this will go in my Etsy shop as well. But so you get a sneak peek if you didn't want one. There it is anyway. So this will be listed in my Etsy shop as well as this ephemera bundle. I'll put the link below. Thank you.